right, all right. So looks like we're about to go ahead and start this evening's discussion. Again, I am Jory Myers, owner of Atlanta Dispatch. Very excited to be here with the one and only Melanie. How you feeling tonight, man?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Can everyone hear me?
Oh, perfectly. You sound great.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Jory, once again, thank you so much for having me on your platform.
Oh, anytime, anytime. The whole point is you are doing something amazing. And the fact that you are willing to share your insights with the community, well, that's just a blessing. So, again, honored to have you here on stage. Look, this is part two, everybody. This is part two of Power of the Pivot. And we're talking about Power of the Pivot because all intents and purposes would say that Miss Patterson over here was a very, very successful registered nurse, doing her thing in the hospital, getting that check. And, she had an opportunity to do something different. For the folks who might not have, been in that first session, can you give a little bit of the background of, what you were doing before and what you currently are doing now as a serial entrepreneur?
Absolutely, for sure. So I see we have some who I am familiar with and some that are new. So pleasure to meet you. So really quick, I'm a girl from Chicago, right? Was a product of my environment, met with adversities, graduated from an alternative school, but I finally figured it out. And so with that, Melanie Patterson, I am the founder and managing director of Integrity Transit Co., Integrity Global Logistics, and Team Integrity Knowledge Center. So how did I kind of get it started into freight logistics, transportation, and being a factor within global supply chain? So I started out, first major was business management and administration, went to college, was doing well, but God had other plans for me. And so I was presented with the opportunity to take part in an internship at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Beverly Hills, California, in the neonatal unit. Fell in love with medicine, nursing, went on to pursue my career in nursing, worked my way up the ladder, you guys, from CNA to registered nurse bachelor's degree. And then I played that corporate game. Anyone in the room who's working a 9 to 5, you kind of understand that. And so in medicine and nursing, it's all about your education, your continued education, and those acronyms behind your name. And so I played that game once again, and I went ahead and achieved my graduate degree. So I have a master's in science, and so it's an advanced nurse practitioner. And my specialty was ER trauma. I did that for about 7.5 years, alongside with always being an entrepreneur, businesswoman, which is what is near and dear to my heart as well. And so I own Pro Realty Management real estate company. To this date, I still own Exquisite Cuts Barbershop, which is a premium grooming salon. And I was working my 9 to 5, ER trauma, as you guys can imagine. I was missing out on Christmas mornings. I was absent during Thanksgiving meals, and I had children. So I had little children, and those are important memories. Not only that, I was dealing with burnout. As you guys can imagine, I always worked in a community that I can identify with. So it was a pretty impoverished communities, and we were dealing with a lot of gunshot stabbings. And so I dealt with burnout. And not only that, most importantly, as I went to onboard all of these educational things that would help me to grow in corporate, I still felt capped. I still felt like I really wasn't truly tapping into my true potential, so to speak. And I had that glass ceiling above me. And so a friend of the family was like, hey, look, you need to kind of look into transportation. And I'm like, no. Real estate is pretty good to me right now. And I got this career going on. I was doing well, right, as a young woman. And I said, no, let me hold off on that. Circle back around, saw that individual again. They're like, look, you really need to look into transportation. This is an amazing time. And that was about maybe 4.5 years ago. So I said, you know what? Let me kind of look into this and see what it is. So I started to do the research, you guys, like many of you on this call. I started to do the groundwork and really research what is transportation? What does that look like? And specifically, what does that look like in my region here in the Midwest? And so I started to educate myself. I paid thousands of dollars for mentorship. I have no problems admitting that. That is why I am where I am today, you guys, because I paid for mentorship. And so moving forward, I said, you know what? There's no way that I can liquidate my real estate portfolio, invest thousands of dollars into transportation, procure these equipments, these trucks, and just run them off the load board. I said, there has to be more. There has to be more. And so, as we all know, there's no secret. Transportation has been around for quite some time. It is a Caucasian male-dominated industry. And I said, there has to be a barrier that I can penetrate. That's the competitiveness in me. And I stumbled upon government contracting, grants, and then government contracting. And moving forward, fast forwarding, talked to my business partner. I said, look, we need to restructure this thing. We need to make me 51% shareholder and watch me work within this government contracting space. Best decision that I ever made. And so Integrity Transit Co., Integrity Global Logistics, we are a certified minority woman-owned transportation company, and the government is one of my top customers, and now I call them my business partner. It's really changed the game for me. And so I know that was long-winded, but I had to give you the full picture of how I got here and where I'm at.
Well, no, that was amazing. That was exactly what I was seeking because I needed people to hear the full of how you got to where you are right now. And, where basically my questions are going to come from because I had the opportunity. I was fortunate enough to learn about you last year. I mean, you came onto the Clubhouse stage and I heard you just boom, boom, boom with all the certifications and, just so crisp in everything that you were saying that, we're definitely here to learn what we can learn. But you said something very, very I'm not going to say controversial. All right. But the fact is, you said you began to pay for coaching. How early in your process did you realize you needed the knowledge and that you were willing to pay for it? You are on mute.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries.
Very early on, to be transparent. Once again, I am coming from a background of medicine. And so that was my world for the last 7 years before entering into transportation. But at the base of me, the core of me, I still had that, that business management and administration underneath me. And I know business. And I knew that I just couldn't just enter into this industry, this paradigm, as I call it, right? Without any form of knowledge or guidance. I wanted to be able to. And so once again, this is the competitiveness in me. I wanted to be like 10 steps ahead of the game. And so if that requires somebody with 20 years of experience and allowing me to shake the right hands, be in the right rooms, present with the right opportunities, how much? Sign me up.
Right.
And so that was very, very early on, to be transparent.
All right. Well, I think that's a beautiful thing because even now, even in today, I'm having clients in my industry, people who have been operating for, let's just say every bit of a year, still making rookie mistakes. You know what I mean? And it's because they didn't get the education up front. And, that is something to value and cherish. And, with that being said, all right, so you have a fleet, you pivoted, you have your own fleet, you were in the spot market, you turned to government contracting. And, there's something that's very big that just happened, the infrastructure bill. Talk about that a little bit and maybe how it might relate to what you got going on.
Okay, let's get right into it, huh? Jory, we're not wasting any time.
No, we got to get that value out there. We got to get it.
We got to get the value. Absolutely. And so the infrastructure bill, I don't know how many on the call have heard about the bipartisan infrastructure bill that Biden passed last year. Well, the ink is dry, ladies and gentlemen. And so this is a $1.3 trillion bill that has been passed, and the funding is here. And so more than $580 billion, not million, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about billion and trillion. So $580 billion will be allocated to surface road infrastructure renovation. And so that's going to be like reconstruction of your roadway, your bridges, your viaducts. They're going to really make a real big push towards electrical vehicles, which you're already seeing. They're going to also start to put up electrical gas pumps at various locations along the interstates and highways and expressways, whatever you guys call them. I'm from Chicago, so we call them the E-way. And so my question to you guys is, how is the material going to get to these construction sites?
Mm-hmm.
Transportation. How's the lumber? How's the steel? How is the machinery going to arrive at these different construction sites? Transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's huge right now. This is really going to be the opportunity for a lot of our fleet owners, our dispatchers, our brokers, our freight forwarders to really survive right now during this recession and during this volatile market within freight logistics, right? And so onboarding the government is key because the infrastructure bill has passed, the ink is dry. All of the surveys have evaluated the different states and infrastructures that need to be renovated. And so the funding has begun. You're going to start to slowly see an increase in department agencies with solicitations, with higher than normal solicitation awarding amounts. You're going to start to see these large prime contractors reaching out to minority, women, veteran owned to fulfill on these $50 million, $75 million contracts because they're mandated. A part of a contingent to the contract is to source it to small business owners, minority business owners. And so you're going to start to see a surge and an increase in solicitations that are going to be partially fulfilled by subcontractors. And so the infrastructure is huge. And you'll see, if you guys, everybody follow me on Team Integrity Knowledge Center on Instagram, Facebook, you'll see I'm starting to really speak to that, to my community, because Jory, you'll be surprised how many people are not even aware of what is happening.
Right. I can tell you that. I mean, I'm somewhat have my foot in the door and I still have a lot to learn. So, if there's anything that I can do through my journey of learning, bring some value to somebody else, I'm definitely going to put every effort forward to do that. So with that, you said that it's going to be a lot of solicitations coming out soon since the ink is dry. How are we able to find those solicitations? Like, what would be a way somebody who was listening in would be able to say, that really struck a nerve with me. I really want to do that. How can I actually find those solicitations?
So solicitations are on the state level, local level, as well as on the federal level. Mm-hmm. And so they're located like in your local states. You'll go to your procurement websites, you'll register, and you'll have opportunity to see what contracts are available for you guys to take part in. And then on the federal level, you have several different platforms. Some of the most common ones are Unisom, as well as sam.gov is one of the main ones that you guys hear about. But before we do that, because you're putting the cart before the horse, Jory. And so before we even go into speaking of these solicitations, number one, we need to evaluate our company and our business. Right. Mm-hmm. So we need to really look at the organizational, the structure. Mm-hmm. Making sure that we have a true organizational chart, making sure that we have an operation agreement, and making sure that we have the capacity to leverage in a minority, women-owned, veteran-owned capacity. And so the first start is there. The second start would then be onboarding in sam.gov. It is a very daunting task. It is a very intense process. it is very unfamiliar grounds, especially the terminology. And so that's the one thing I talk to individuals about all the time is stepping out of whatever industry you were previously in, put that to the side. Government contracting is a whole new paradigm. And so it's a different language. There's different protocols. There's different things that need to be in place for you to successfully get registered in SAM.gov and be registered with competence as well. So just like freight logistics, government contracting is highly regulated as well. And so you got to cross your T's and dot your I's for sure.
Yes, ma'am. All right. And look, I appreciate you getting me together. Now, there are definitely some steps ahead of seeing those solicitations. So I appreciate you coming back. And you uncovered something that is very important. You said something about it's important to have that structure together, have that operating agreement together. Why do you need that operating agreement when you're about to, submit for a solicitation?
Yeah, definitely. So with the operation agreement, along with your shareholdership, it's really going to be able to legally showcase your authority within your entity, right? And so if you are looking to leverage certifications within government contracting, you need to showcase that you are 51% or more, 51% or more owner, shareholder within that particular organization to take advantage of minority, women, veteran, and so forth certifications.
Okay. All right. That definitely makes sense. And, I did put the cart ahead of the horse. So let me downshift. Let me downshift so that we can build up properly. Okay. All right. So look, let me just ask this. When it comes down to a solicitation, just the concept of a solicitation, what are the normal steps? Okay. Like what are the normal steps that one would go about seeing, and then, just generalizing what those steps look like so people can get an idea?
Yeah. So this is one of the most challenging things people experience, guys. And so this is what I hit on in mentorship for sure. And so we need to look at what solicitation is it, right? Is this an RFP? Is this an RFQ? Is this an RFI? Is this a sole source opportunity? Right? And so we need to really look at what type of solicitation this is and respond to it according to that. Number two, so that's number one. Number two, first thing, so I provide my mentees with something that I've created, a tool that I use that has helped me to execute and win these contracts, is a bid workbook. And so you're going to basically have that workbook next to that solicitation. And there's very strategic strategies that you need to use. Number one, to evaluate, are you competent? Number two, are these next codes on your SAM.gov as well as on your capability statement and things of that nature? Number three, are there any appointed set-asides? If they are any appointed set-asides, do I fall into that category? And so there's several different strategies that need to be taken to be successful in regard to executing on those solicitations. For sure. And that's one of the most challenging things I've seen people have issues with.
Gotcha. And, to be in this space, you did say it's terminology intense. Like you even mentioned a few things just in that response that, it might have gone over some people's heads. What's the next code? What's the capability statement? What does that look like? And, those are things that you are able to educate people on in your course. I mean, with Team Integrity Knowledge Center.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And so we have several different offerings. I guess we can kind of go into it. So Team Integrity Knowledge Center, let me tell you where Team Integrity Knowledge Center came from. I think it's important for people to understand where Team Integrity, the birth of Team Integrity. And so you guys know that I have this transportation company that's certified with the government, but most importantly, 4 months after registering my company with the government, we landed our first 6-figure, 3-year-long contract, right?
Hey.
So that's just off the bat, Jory. Just off the bat, right? Now, I won't go through all of them, but let's talk about the last one I just was awarded here in March, at beginning of April. A
Mm-hmm.
$2.5 million contract for a 2-year term.
Hey,
You're
hey,
not going to find
hey.
that on the load board. You're not going to find that with your direct shippers.
You're
Just
not.
saying.
You're not. You're not.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I said, you know what? I'm on to something. And I started to really document my processes. And I said, there's no way that I can get this far and not reach back to my community and people who look like me, people who are experiencing what I'm experiencing. And so, as we know, this is a Caucasian-led industry, and they have look at your direct shipper. When were they established? 1906. So they've been from great grandfather, great great grandfather, the great grandfather, and so forth and so forth. And so we have that disadvantage, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
with government contracting. Not with government contracting. We are actually are a it's a benefit to be a minority, right? And so it looks very very different, very very different. And so Team Integrity Knowledge Center was birthed, and so I'm so proud. And so we offer SAM.gov registration. We also offer, because we have a lot of people, I don't know how many are on the call right now, but we have a lot of ambitious people who try to attempt registering in SAM.gov themselves. And the minute they get in there, they are defeated. I just had a call today with one of my mentees, and she was like, you know what? I got in that thing, and I said, oh no. Oh, no, 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 no. Let me back out of here. And so not only do we have SAM.gov registration where we will facilitate that for you, we also have DIY SAM.gov registration. So it's like a do-it-yourself SAM.gov registration. We also offer customized capability statements, you guys. It's key that you guys have a custom capability statement. I heard someone say Google it. Absolutely not. Do not Google your capability statement. We are placing this document in decision makers' hands. These are procurement officers, contracting officers who sign on the dotted line for these 6- and 7-figure solicitations. And so we provide customized capability statements as well as mentorship. It's an 8-week-long mentorship, content heavy, but we do some true hand holding. You guys can find the details out about that in the link in my bio. And so that's for people who are really ready to take this thing serious. Those who want to get a little bit of introduction into what this looks like for them, we have Trucking Meets GovCon Jumpstart. Trucking Meets GovCon Jumpstart is basically a very 101, very entry level into where you need to start and how you need to kind of start to pivot and move in the direction of onboarding the government as one of your customers. For you guys tonight, I guess I'll jump right into it. I don't know why I was saving it to the last, but this is Jory. Here we are. We
Here
always
we
say
are.
salad. Here we are. We always say salad. So for your platform, I am offering you guys $100 off of the Trucking Meets GovCon Jumpstart. Promo code is going to be pivot, right? There
Hey.
is power in pivoting. You guys need to step out of fear. Right now, if never before, you guys, I'm talking to you as a minority. I'm talking to you as a woman. I'm talking to you as an entrepreneur. I'm talking to you as a fleet owner who is hands-on in their business, winning contracts and doing it. Number one, it's possible. Number two, move out of your own way. A lot of you guys are very fearful of government contracting. Government contracting has changed my kids' lives. And so it's bigger than me. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
the first place you guys need to start is definitely Trucking Meets GovCon Jumpstart. And that is on my bio and Instagram. It's in my, I guess, Clubhouse profile. If you can tap the link and definitely utilize promo code PIVOT to get your $100 off. And so that would be $97 to get started within government contracting. And this is a game changer, you guys. It really is. I don't know how much I can really show or express to you guys what this has done for my business, but absolutely. So those are a few things that we offer at Team Integrity Knowledge Center. And I would love to have you guys on mentorship so we can do some true hand holding. I see I have a mentee on the line right now, Rashana. And so thank you so much for joining too, Rashana. Shout out to Rashana, Team Integrity. And so just true mentorship. I understand what that looks like. I understand what it is to invest your last and the return on investment for this, you guys, is 10x.
Right,
And
right.
so I would love to see you guys in mentorship for sure, hands down.
Gotcha. So look, for the folks, you can also click that link right at the top of the chat here. It is a link tree, but it will take you to Team Integrity Knowledge Center, the website, and I'm sure you'll be able to navigate that site to find all of the details that you definitely can get with Team Integrity Knowledge Center. So let's just move a little bit forward. With the situation as a whole, you know. So there are government solicitations, right? And sometimes these are repeat solicitations, something that came out this year. It might come out 2 years from now, 2 years after that. Are there any platforms or websites that maybe you've been able to help you strategize how you're going to cater your pricing or your bid as a whole when you see a solicitation?
Very, very, very good question. And so absolutely, there's always strategies. You have to be very, very strategic within government contracting. And so let's just talk about on the state and local level, because let's just start there, right?
Okay.
On the state and local level, they have something called a buying plan. And so your buying plan is really going to help you to do market research and forecast in regard to where they're going to be allocating funds and spending within the current and next fiscal year. And so that's definitely a place to start for sure. Another thing that I talk about in mentorship, I won't go into too much details, but utilizing of a FOIA is definitely another strategy that I utilize that really has helped me to capture what those numbers should look like. And then, of course, you have USA Spending, which is another website where you can go on and see where the government is putting their funds. And then, of course, you can come to Team Integrity Knowledge Center, where it's very freight logistics specific. And we have Federal Trucking Meets GovCon Market Analysis Report. And so within that report, we give you the top agencies for your next codes. We break them down into 3 categories. So we have general freight, which is our semi-trucks. We have carrier messenger services, which are cargo vans, box trucks. And then we have logistics, which is going to be your dispatching and your warehousing and brokerage. And so we provide you guys with the top 10 federal agencies who purchases your services. We provide you with the next codes. Not only that, we provide you with the top 25 primes that you're going to start marketing to. And then we also provide you with the directory of these procurement officers. And so that alone has been a true game changer for a lot of individuals. And so that's where you kind of get the ball rolling. That's where you're going to kind of start.
Okay. Well, you gave us a great place to start, but you said something. When I first started my dispatch company, my first clients were box trucks. What was that? You said that the NICS code, what was the description for that? You said it was carriers, something?
It's not carrier, CA, what we're used
Courier.
to, CAR. There you go. It's courier. Put your pinky up, please.
Okay.
It's courier service, COURIER. And so courier service is going to be that the terminology and next code that you're going to be using for more of your cargo vans, your sprinter vans, and your box trucks, definitely.
Gotcha. All right. So folks who are listening, definitely jot that down. Funny thing enough, I was dispatching a load today that delivered onto a military base that I probably delivered at least 30 loads to, but they changed their process up over the last year. So, okay. It's been interesting. Today was a very interesting day, but through persistence and God, we were able to get it through. But what I found out is there's an organization, there's a trucking company that has a government contract. They're doing hundreds and hundreds of box truck loads a week with the government, going military base to military base. So that's the reason why I asked specifically about that courier services, is because if there are folks who are listening that currently operate a box truck, there are opportunities out there for you as well. So yeah, thanks for highlighting that.
Yeah, for sure, Jory. And let's highlight a little bit more while we're here.
Okay.
Box trucks and cargo van and sprinter vans are one of the hardest equipment to move. Am I lying?
No, you're not lying, especially if you talk
Exactly.
about spot market.
Exactly. Those are one of the most difficult units to move as well as to be profit producing. Let's just put it out there. I don't care how you want to slice it. It is what it is. And so onboarding with the government will give you that stability, as you just spoke to,
Mm-hmm.
consistency, as well as your ability to forecast your company's growth and projections. So then you can scale. And so for box trucks, cargo vans, sprinters, it's a no-brainer. For sure, you need to onboard the government. If you're a dispatcher, if you're a broker, hey, I'll drop it right here. You're going to be a multi-millionaire if you onboard the government and you land these carrier lanes and provide carrier services to all of the box trucks out there. Another thing is, look how many dispatch and broker companies there are out here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest.
There's a lot.
Let's be honest.
There's a lot.
Dispatching companies is pretty saturated right now, right? What's going to set yourself apart? What are you going to do to set yourself apart? The government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, that was the equivalent of a mic drop because she went on mute. That is very true. I agree 100%. It is going to set you apart. That is definitely something because the market is very saturated. So you are looking for differentiators when you're a motor carrier, fleet owner, and you're considering these different service providers. What's going to set you apart? I'll say that you definitely hit it on the head with that. The different opportunities, the different people that are in your network, and the different ways in which you can get freight opportunities. So yeah, appreciate you. You closing with that. So you mentioned this earlier. And I know that there's so much jargon to learn. But what's a KO? What's a purchasing officer, and how do they relate to the solicitation? And throw in there, why is networking important when it comes to those people?
So networking is huge within the governmental space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just as it is in freight logistics, it's all about who you know. Your network is your net worth, and that still applies within the government agency. And so you better believe, I want everybody to know, oh, Melanie with integrity. Oh, integrity, Melanie Patterson. Oh, absolutely. That's she, that's her, that's us. Absolutely. And so you have to network, you guys. Don't think that the government is going to say, do you think I got a $2.5 million contract for a 2-year term by just sitting behind a computer, not marketing, not researching? No, that's not how the government works. Not at all. So you got to put a little bit of elbow grease in this. But once you get in there, it's life-changing. And so it's essential to network with purchasing officers. Now, I will say this. There's a fine line, right? And so we're not soliciting to them. We're not asking them to go to dinner, right? And so it's going to be very different on how we market to, let's say, a direct shipper, right? So from a brokerage company, direct shipper, let's just say, we're going to send a carrier packet. We might send some edible arrangements, might send lunch one day, might send some, notepads and pens. You're not going to do that with a procurement officer, right? You're going to basically gain their attention and, most importantly, their respect by showing up to these pre-bid meetings, showing up to these webinars, showing up to these networking events proper, logoed up, professional, capability statement in hand, ready to work, ready to really, really showcase your level of competence, right? And that's another reason why your capability statement is so important. I've been blessed enough to have been able to have some very powerful people on my team behind the scenes who understand what the purchasing officers are looking for. Let's just say that. And so there's key terminologies that need to be in these capability statements. They need to be formatted a certain way, right? That speaks to these purchasing officers that you're very clear on government contracting, because it's a whole different jargon that they abide by. And you want to play by their game. You're going to play by their game. And so it's very important to build that rapport with your purchasing officer, as well as making sure that you are on the subcontracting directory. Okay, that was a great question, Jory.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it sounds like it's going to take finesse. The funny thing is, from all of the times that I was working in corporate America, in logistics, and there was somebody trying to do sales to a new shipper or a new something, they talked about how you needed to bring them donuts, or, just constantly bombarding them with FaceTime and gifts. And it sounds like, no, you got to be a lot cleaner when it comes to the government. Why do you think that is? I think you're muted.
So pose your question again to make sure that I'm understanding what you're asking me.
What are the reasons why you can't operate the same way you would with a private company when you're soliciting them? Why do you have to? Why is it a lot more nuanced?
So you just said it. So when you're dealing with the private sector, right? You're dancing to the beat of your own drum. Okay? So you have some corruption that goes on. More than in the government space, it's very regulated. It's prestigious. It's very black and white. A lot of these purchasing officers are not going to risk their job for you. Plain and simple. And so you have to know how to approach them. You definitely have to know how to approach them. You're not going to be timid by any means. You're going to be assertive and professional, but you're not going to cross that line at all. And so that's another strategy that we talk about in mentorship when marketing to the government.
Okay. So I've seen a solicitation or two, right? And I pray that this is something that, through the Truck and Meets GovCon membership, that you kind of like lower the anxiety that people might feel or face when they see those solicitations. And those things are long. They got a lot of words, and they got different. They talk about they have a different language with all the jargon. I feel like how does one go about learning what's in those and how to navigate a solicitation and feel confident that they are competent about what they're reading, and how does that even happen?
One word. You guys are ready? A mentor.
A mentor. Okay. A mentor.
A mentor. Stepping into this alone is not advised. Is not advised. I'm coming from a place of academia, right? Dual degrees, graduate degree, and it still is intimidating to me. Number one. Number two, you want to have someone to do some true hand-holding to guide you in the right direction, who can allow you to prevent mistakes that they've made, who can allow you to break down the FAR and what are the regulations according to the government in regard to subcontracting. Someone who's able to kind of go over your numbers with you. That's another thing that I do with my mentees. And so it's a lot. It's a lot. And so just to sum it all up is a mentor. A sound mentor who's willing to put in the time. That's another thing. Within government contracting, this is a marathon. This is not a race. And so we have to put in the time to see the results. Just like you have to plant a seed and you have to what? Water it. Same concept. And so I'm very clear of that. And I know what the return on investment is. And so you just have to stay consistent. You have to stay patient, and trust me. One contract alone is life-changing. You know what I mean? But then once you get the bug, as I call it, So for instance, you guys, ladies on the line, I see all my ladies on the line. So let me talk to my ladies and my men too as well. My
Yeah.
shopping is different right now. I'm not looking for a Gucci purse and some Louis shoes. My shopping is with the government. And
Okay.
so I'll explain that a little bit more in mentorship, but it hits different, you guys. When you get those government checks deposited into your account, it hits different. It also opens up the doors to many opportunities. Did you ever hear me talk about a brokerage company in my inception phase of this integrity empire? No, it wasn't even on the radar. I looked at my original business plan, nowhere near, nowhere near. And so it has really propelled this integrity empire it catapulted into a different direction. And so now we have, funneling some of those government contracts through the brokerage company. Now you have the banking institutions see federal fundings and government funding coming into your business bank account. What do you think they're going to do, Jory? Okay. Let's talk about also tapping into my network now. I don't own a warehouse. I don't have a warehouse. But now through my network and my strategic partnership, I can offer those services to the government. You recently saw me post about aerospace. Well, you saw me in the office in an airport. And so now with my strategic partnership, I can now market to the government aero freight services, right? How could I have just done that with just having trucks and just being a trucking company?
Right. Look, before you go too far, man, look, because you're giving.
Okay, sorry.
You know what I mean? Before you go, because I have to ask you this, and I think it's interesting. You said that having a brokerage was not on the radar, not anything that you wanted to do. Now, now you're in there. You have these opportunities. The freight needs to get moved. And sometimes it's so much that you can't do it with your own units. So did you feel like you had to open a brokerage to fulfill that responsibility with maybe that thing that you were awarded? Or is that something that you just wanted to do because it was a little bit cleaner to do it that way?
Second part. Very much so, the second part. I did not have to, but I wanted to keep the two separate. And as being a businesswoman, I saw how I can now. How many people on this call? 49. All right. So here it is. So you can basically go after the same solicitation under those two different entities and make yourself more competitive. Let's go. Mic drop again.
Right. Wow. Okay. More competitive. Now I hear you. I never even considered that. Considered that.
Yeah. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a Leo. I'm from Chicago. And so I'm not here to play. I'm here to penetrate barriers and show people like me how it's done. And so this was a great call, Jory. I gave away some great gems for sure. You guys tap in, you guys, to Trucking Meets GovCon Jumpstart. If you guys don't do anything else, just come take a peek, see what this can look like for you and your business and how you really can start to structure and pivot. There's power in pivot, you guys, for sure.
Right. Look, I know that we've been on, and
Can we take questions?
Right. That's exactly what I was about to transition to. But, right, look, Miss Melanie, I have one last situation, and it's personal. This is me. This is my situation, and I felt like I wanted to share this so that if anybody else was in this spot, maybe this being transparent might help them in their journey as well. Like right now, I have a company that is HubZone certified, and only because I'm HubZone certified, I got the opportunity to get a solicitation. So this is very early in that solicitation. Okay. And the reason why I also wanted to bring it up is because you said you don't own a warehouse, but now through your strategic partnerships, if there was something that was popping off, you have the ability to do that because you have those people in your network now. This is a full blown 3PL project on the other side of the country. And, it's even with NASA. I'll even tell you who it is. I'm on my
That is
way to the second.
huge.
Yeah, yeah. I'm on my way to the second part of this situation. And, have you ever been in a spot where they're asking for things, past performance that is, that you have not done yourself? And if so, when you spoke to those people or you had to, write that stuff up, how did it look when you knew you were going to be leveraging subcontractors who did it?
Um, Great question. So of course, with something like NASA, which is huge, number one, congratulations, shout out to you, Jory, for
Appreciate it.
positioning yourself to take advantage of that opportunity. You definitely will need to have a past performance as well as a technical approach. You're going to leverage your corporate experience as well as your subcontracting experience on that past performance. And then, so you're asking, hey, look, I haven't done this before, but I'm basically outsourcing this to a subcontractor that is well versed and seasoned within this particular niche, right?
Exactly.
Showcase that, right? Let that company speak for you. Let that company, be the person behind you, shoulder to shoulder.
Okay. No, I definitely,
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with
definitely.
that. If this contract is that large and they're allowing you to subcontract out, they are aware that you may not have the capacity as a entity alone to fulfill. So they want you to onboard someone to help you, not only because they may be able to provide the volume and capacity needed, but the past performance, the expertise, and as well as these purchasing officers, they're like, look, get it done. Don't call me. Even if you have to call me, please don't call me. They don't know about, you know what I mean? And
Right.
so they will love to see that you have people within your network to support the scope of work, right? The SOW of that solicitation. And so don't be ashamed to showcase that, especially if you're going to be utilizing a sub. And let's say you're going to be utilizing a sub that's veteran owned, that's minority woman owned, that's heck yeah, come on.
Right.
They're
Right.
mandated to spend the money with us, right? And so you may get, there's an algorithm, a pointing system that they use. And so you will be looked at a little bit differently too, as well. So yeah, just leverage your network and be transparent. Hey, look, this is who my subcontracting individual would be if they allow you to subcontract out.
Right now, so look, I appreciate that. Look, folks, if you have questions, if there were any questions, I'm going to leave this open for the next 30 seconds. If you have questions, go ahead and raise your hand. But to speak to what we were just talking about, the funny thing is, yeah, they will let me out. They will let me subcontract because I was very transparent up front. I like to not hold all the cars, especially the cars that might tilt it. And now it's let me just tell you where I'm at so that you can help me get to my next level. You know what I mean? So that's really where I am. And again, y'all, if you had any questions, please raise your hand now because, I do respect this young lady's time and she has dropped a lot of bars already. And like I said, I'm going to leave that open for 30 seconds. But yeah, in the meantime, trucking
Cool.
beats GovCon. Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Is that ongoing or is that like something that you have an event coming up and that's when we will be talking about it?
You know what? I don't have any events on the calendar for this year, to be transparent. Trucking Meets GovCon, I think, is here to stay. I think this is a good segue to also identify what I am good at. Government contracting is very broad, right? So the government buys anything from condoms for the jail systems to transportation services. And so when you
Okay.
guys are out here, looking for mentors, make sure you find someone who is transportation, freight logistics specific, because that's going to look very different than just overall government contracting, right? And so Trucking Meets GovCon mentorship is here to stay. This is a game changer. I see the results. I see what is going on and what's happening with my community's companies. And so Trucking Meets GovCon mentorship is here to stay. Put a
Okay.
stamp on it.
Okay.
Any
Okay.
questions? I definitely want to
My bad. I
tap
turned it
in
off.
with the
I turned
people.
it off once they I put it out there
Oh,
for 30
okay.
seconds and nobody came through. I did want to
Okay.
respect your
Okay.
time. So, well, I
No,
just
no,
opened it
no.
just
I'm
because you
all
asked.
yours. Yeah,
Okay.
open that bad boy up. I'm all yours.
Okay.
I am
Okay.
all
Okay.
yours. Absolutely. Any questions? Any questions?
Uh,
If we have any,
well,
don't be shy.
while we're here, I might as well, I was about to shout this person out, but she raised her hand. Hey, what's up now? Um, Let me go ahead and bring up Lottie. Lottie, what's up? How you feeling? Lottie, go ahead and unmute
Oh,
yourself.
here we
Boom.
go. Hello, can you hear me?
Definitely. How you feeling,
Okay.
Lottie?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Well, look, let me just give a real brief introduction of who you are. Look, y'all, I co-dispatch. I do it, and this is her organization. I definitely enjoy partnering with her because I feel like we just respect the game. We're here to do real business, and I just wanted to give you a shout out and say I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so people don't know like what we do behind the scenes. Like, yeah, you got box truckloads, I got box truckloads. Let's work together. So that's a side thing.
Right, right.
Um, but yeah, shout out to all the dispatchers on here. So quick, Melanie, I have a question. I just want to be transparent and tell a little bit what happened really quick. Um, I don't want to say we were scammed, but me and a young lady, I have my SAM's registration, minority owned woman certification. So we outsourced this lady to help us get, I guess, contracts to bid on loads and not loads, but solicitations for us. So we were paying her for 2 months, thousands of dollars, okay? And we got scammed. So what's some of the things that we should look for people that's out here selling these courses or marketing, hey, we can get you government contracting, and I don't have time to do it myself, so I'm outsourcing, but then I'm getting scammed. So I'll definitely want to take your class. I've been following you for a while, and I'm going to sign up for your mentorship. But I just wanted to make people aware that there are people out here that's scamming people. So can you touch a little bit on that?
Absolutely. Lottie, first and foremost, I want to thank you for your vulnerability and transparency and just coming on the platform to share with our community. Yes, there is a lot of scams out there. And so, for instance, when you guys register, for those who know, when you register for your MC to authority, what happens? You get inundated with spam emails and phone calls. Your phone is ringing off the hook. Very similar in the government sector. So once you register in sam.gov, your information then becomes public information, right? And so with that, you're going to get a lot of scam, a lot of solicitations. You have to do your due diligence. You have to do your research. And so most importantly, you want to see who that person has worked with in the past, right? Here we are right here. I have Rashawn on the line, team integrity mentee. I have she trucking with Sheree, can speak to my work ethics. I have Lisa on this call right now, I see, who can speak to my work ethics and the value that I have brought to individuals, companies, and the lives that I'm changing. So you want to have discernment, right? You want to do your due diligence, and you want to really scout out who you're going to onboard as basically what you did was your procurement liaison. And so that's something that we do offer for our higher end clients, because guess what? They know the value. So, right. So mentorship is a drop in the bucket compared to what government contracting can do for your company. And so, unfortunately, we have individuals who know these larger corporations, or even, let's just say, small business owners like yourself, will spend the thousands of dollars to get to those 6 and 7 figure contracts. And so, unfortunately, this happened to you, but I just ask of you to have discernment. definitely have discernment. Make sure that they are, make sure that there's a contract in place as well. Make sure that they're doing their due diligence and giving you weekly updates, or at least a monthly update. All right, in regard to where your portfolio is, because this is portfolio management overall, right? And so you definitely need to have open communication with them and see where they're at and what they're doing on the back end in regard to presenting those opportunities to you and your company to win within government contracting. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you. We were doing our weekly calls and everything, but it just didn't fall through. But I want to talk to you more, so that's why I want to sign up for your mentorship. But I just wanted to throw that
Yes.
out there for people. Don't just
Yes.
click on anybody. But this was a person that referred me by somebody that was top, in the transportation industry. So I thought it was official, but it wasn't. But thank you for that.
And again, I'm sorry that that happened to you. One thing that I can assure you here at Team Integrity, we do not have that repertoire. We do not have that stain on our name. Our success is contingent upon yours. So there's no benefit from handling business that way under my umbrella. And so I would love to have you on as a Team Integrity mentee for sure.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming up, Lottie, asking that question. And you hit it right on the head, Melanie. Here for the long money, not for the quick money. Okay. So, Desi, what's up, brother? How you feeling?
Peace, big peace. Hey, Melanie. Long time I met you at Sheree's. I saw Sheree in the
Yep.
audience.
Yep. Hey.
Hey, what's going on? I heard you. First of all, to both of you, I heard you talking some things, Jory. NASA, that's pretty big. It don't get
Hey,
much.
man. Hey, pray for me. Pray.
And Melanie, on your growth and success, man. Just congrats to you both. Real quick to the point. I heard you make mention of a brokerage. So I'm guessing you're brokering some of the military freight or some of the government opportunities that you have. And I have resources. I have operated in the government community before, but I just want to definitely tap in because I know that's a constant good paying source of freight. So definitely want to link up with you on that. Definitely would be looking to the truck, whatever you said it was, the trucker aspect of it.
Trucking meets GovCon Jumpstart or Trucking meets GovCon Mentorship. Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, what she said. Yeah, what you said so many times eloquently, more than I could. So yeah, definitely. I'm not going to take up more of your time, but definitely, were you actually mentioning broker freight that you're doing from the government realm? Is that what you're mentioning?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Definitely want to tap in. So I'll be contacting you in regard to that. Thanks for both of you guys providing the outstanding information. And that's all I got.
Okay, bet. Well, Desi is my good brother. I truly appreciate you for coming up to the stage, Desi. And if I can do anything for you, you know what it is. So yeah, that's it. Let me go ahead and turn these hand raising up. Let me turn it off. Melanie, I truly appreciate you. And as we close out the room, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the people?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to close out, I guess I just want to let you guys know that small business do big business with government contracting. And secondly, know what's possible.
Boom. Know what's possible. That having that mentor, having that exposure to something, know what's possible. Now, I truly appreciate that. So look, everybody, thank you again for supporting us. We are well over 25,000 members in the Transportation and Logistics Clubhouse. We post these sessions now. We post them at transportationandlogistics.club, spelled all the way out, transportationandlogistics.club. So if you were made aware of any past, discussions, you can definitely find them there, at least since last August. That's when we started recording these bad boys. So we have the first session of power of the pivot from this past January posted too, just in case you wanted to hear more from Miss Melanie. But yeah, check us out on Monday as we partner with Freightways. We're going to be telling you where you should be positioning your trucks and where you should avoid to take advantage of the market. And additionally, next week, we're going to be highlighting a good brother of mine, one of his many companies. This man he's in transportation. All right. Actually, I'll talk about that more in a little bit, but I'm very grateful for that brother. Everybody be blessed. Melanie, thank you again. And, maybe even look, you might even see me in some of those mentorship rooms. So thank you.
Absolutely, Jory. Thank you again so much for having me on your platform, as this is something that's near and dear to my heart, tapping into people who look like me, people who come from the same community as I do, and just really allowing them to know what is possible within global supply chain and the ecosystem of global supply chain. All right. Thank you so much, you guys. I really would love to see you guys on the other side. Make sure you guys are tapping in. You can find me on all social media platforms. So Melanie Patterson on Instagram, Facebook, definitely LinkedIn for sure. And then Team Integrity Knowledge Center on Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. Tap in, you guys. Now is the time to pivot. Step out of fear, move to the side, and jump. I love you guys, and have an amazing evening.
All right. Thank you now. Peace, y'all.